Good morning. It's Friday. It is December the 20th. It is the last weekend before the Christmas holidays, and we are in storm watch.
We are.
Very significant. Well, it's like a 1-2 punch. We have the low today and then the low on Saturday. It's going to be a bad weekend for travel time.
Yeah, it's a little slick out there right now. We do have a mixture out there, out in Kitchener-Waterloo, a little bit of freezing rain, freezing drizzle in London. I had, for the most part, just mixed precipitation, a bit of snow, a bit of rain on my way in, 0 to -1 on my drive. So it is a little slick. You have to be careful.
Now, temperatures are going to be the key factor in this. Depending on where we sit, closer to the freezing mark is really going to depend on what type of precipitation we see. For example, we were looking at freezing drizzle reported at Pearson and in through Buttonville. Areas further south of that, a little bit above the freezing mark.
Slick.
Yeah, now yesterday, it wasn't an awful day for travel. We did see even a little bit of sunshine, and it was warm. I built a snowman.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Aren't you being adventurous?
I know, only because it was like 3 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I went outside. But honestly, I built a snowman at like 11 in the morning, and it was just a little guy for Brooklyn.
Oh, it's just a teeny little one.
Yeah, and then I looked outside at about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was face down, like melted in a puddle. I thought, oh, that looks sad.
Yeah,
I wish I had taken it before and after.
That's called a snow baby, not a snowman.
No.
No, a little one like that, snow baby.
Okay, well, I made a snow baby.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to break down exactly what's going to happen on Saturday into Sunday in just a few moments. But first, Tom, take us through the roads. Any early delays? All right, so this afternoon, we've got that risk of freezing drizzle kind of going back and forth from rain to freezing drizzle to rain to freezing drizzle. Through the overnight, we're actually going to get a bit of a break. So this is kind of overdoing it a little bit. We're going to see a little bit of a break into Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon, new low moves in, and that's where we're going to see that prolonged period of freezing rain overnight to Sunday. About 5 to 10 millimeters, not out of the question for ice accretion, so things could get a little... We are in storm watch as the last weekend before the Christmas holidays gets hit with a very severe ice storm. Now, what we're looking at right now, today we have a low moving through, bringing us the risk of freezing rain, and in some areas we're already starting to see it. And then Saturday into Sunday, that's going to be really, really intense. So I'm going to get to all those details in just a moment. But first, let's deal with what's happening right now. We've got a freezing rain warning. It stretches all the way, literally, from London through Kitchener and Toronto, through Peterborough, all the way up toward Kingston and through Hamilton. Niagara, not in this. Reason being, temperatures slightly too warm. Now, that's good news, right? If you're just seeing all rain with this. Not great for flooding concerns because of all the snowpack we have, but better than freezing rain when you're trying to get around this morning. We've got snow further to the north. We've got that fine line of freezing rain, and then we've got rain to the south. Reason being, temperatures are so marginal. I mean, we're so close to the freezing mark in so many areas. We're looking at 2 degrees in Toronto right now. That's why we're seeing rain kind of mixed with freezing rain. Honestly, you just go a tiny little bit north of Toronto, and that's where you're going to see that freezing rain line this morning. 1 through Hamilton, we're looking at 0 through Kitchener, -2 in Orangeville, -2 in Barrie, 1 through Newmarket. Areas to the north, like I said, they're seeing snow. Anything below the freezing mark, it is snow. This afternoon, we hit 0 through Toronto, so there's that marginal. 0. Is it raining? Is it freezing rain? Is it raining? Is it freezing rain? It's going to be kind of like that, back and forth all day long today. Hamilton, the risk of some freezing rain as well, but 2 degrees, it's going to be more rain, and then a little bit of freezing rain, and then rain, and then a little bit of freezing rain. I really hope this is making sense. I really do. Okay, so here's what's happening this morning in terms of the type maps. This kind of gives you a really good outline of what type of precipitation we're going to see. So we've got snow to the north. We've got that fine line of mixing and freezing rain, and Toronto literally on the cusp of this. So that's why I'm saying it's going to go from rain to freezing rain to rain to freezing rain. That scenario continues this afternoon and in through this evening. Areas further south, rain. Hamilton, just on the cusp of the rain line. So hopefully for you, it'll be more rain than freezing rain. So as this whole business moves out, we are going to be seeing a bit of a lull tonight and into tomorrow morning. That's going to be your best chance to get out and get anything done that you need to get done. We are going to see the next low move in across the stationary boundary. This is where the real freezing rain potential comes in. This is where we have to worry about the severe ice accretion. 5 to 10 millimeters is something that we could be dealing with by late day Sunday. Snowfall amounts, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters up toward Barrie, Toronto, right again on the cusp of this, and then areas further south, we're looking at less than 5 centimeters. Rainfall amounts, however, could be heavy at times. We could see 15 to 30 millimeters from Toronto down towards through the Niagara region. This is the type map for Saturday night into Sunday. I know it looks really daunting, doesn't it? It is going to be icy, slippery. Do not go out if you can help it. All right, we'll talk more about the long range in a moment, but first here's Tom with traffic. Hey, we've got our Christmas in here. We are going to see that risk of freezing rain continue Saturday into Sunday. Monday, not bad. So if you've got some last minute running around to do, Monday would be the day to do it. Or Tuesday, if you're like most men in my life, that's when they're going to be doing their Christmas shopping. And then Wednesday, we're going to see some overcast conditions, a high of 1. So it's going to be relatively mild for your Christmas traveling this week. Good morning. It's Friday. It is December the 20th. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. We are in storm watch. We have a very significant ice storm on the way through southern Ontario. This is round 1. So if you blink, you might miss me talking about what's happening right now, because the real kind of meat and potatoes of the system is going to be happening Saturday and into Sunday. Today, freezing rain warning. We've already seen slippery conditions through Kitchener and Waterloo. We have seen freezing rain reported at Pearson and in through Buttonville. So give yourself lots of extra time today, because this freezing rain warning is in for today and in for tonight. Now, the big deal with this is temperatures. It's all about temperatures. To the north, where it's colder, we're seeing snow. To the south, where it's warmer, we're seeing rain. And anywhere in between, that's where we have that risk of ice pellets and freezing drizzle. Here's the radar. You're seeing snow up in Barrie. But see, there's a fine line of mixing moving into the area right now. We're also seeing quite a bit of fog, a lot of moisture in the air right now. Fog patches down towards Hamilton. I drove through a little bit of fog on my way from Oakville to Oakville. It was foggy on the QE. Barrie sitting at 2 degrees. Newmarket, we're at -1, and Oshawa, we're sitting at 0. And this is how it's going to play out all day long. We're really just going to be sitting around that freezing mark. And that's why we have the potential to go back and forth from rain to freezing rain, to ice pellets, to rain, to freezing rain. And then eventually we are going to be seeing some snow. So here's that freezing rain line. The pink is what you really need to be concerned about. Yes, blue is tricky to navigate in. Snow, I mean, not blue. It's tricky to get around in. But that freezing drizzle this morning is really going to be an issue on all the roads, major highways, the 401 corridor, the QEW. Tom's going to be talking about what's happening now in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. Hamilton kind of right on the cusp of this freezing rain mixing rain line. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more rain further south and a little bit more snow further north. Right along this boundary is where we're going to see the more active weather. Some areas could actually see some pretty heavy rain with this series of lows over the weekend. Overnight, we get a little bit of a break, and tomorrow morning, we're also going to see a bit of a lull before the next low moves in. So if you have any kind of running around to do, tomorrow morning is the time to do it, because the bulk of the system is going to be coming in Saturday afternoon and into Saturday night into Sunday. It's going to be primarily freezing rain. It's going to be icy. It is going to be slippery. Snowfall amounts look like this. We're seeing less than 5 centimeters through much of the GTA. Rainfall amounts, however, could be heavy down towards the south, 15 to 30 millimeters. Ice accretion, there is the possibility of about 5 to 10 millimeters of ice. So that could mean power outages. It's not going to be a good weekend for travel. Speaking of travel, here's Tom with a look at the roads. Well, temperatures are going to warm up just in time for Christmas Day, but first we have to get through this messy weekend. Now, if you do have some running around to do, Monday is also an opportunity, or Tuesday, like most people I know, men especially, Tom especially, to get your Christmas shopping done. And then for Christmas Day, we're looking at fairly mild conditions throughout southern Ontario. Good morning. It's Friday. It is the 20th of December, and we're getting into the last weekend before the Christmas holiday season. And we're in storm watch. I know, it's playing out perfectly, isn't it? You're probably thinking, yeah, right, Emily. It's not at all. It's messing up my plans this weekend. It is. That's exactly what it's going to do. It is going to mess up many people's plans this weekend. Freezing rain warning in place right now. This is for the appetizer. This is literally the first low that's moving through. The second one comes in Saturday into Sunday. Freezing rain warning, widespread. Give yourself extra time on the roads today. Snowfall amounts, we're looking at less than 5 centimeters through the city of Toronto, but we could see about 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. Now we're just kind of on the cusp of that. This is going to be for through Saturday and into Sunday as well. Now Saturday night and into Sunday, it is all ice. This is ice accretion, could amount to about 5 to 10 millimeters. So power outages could be a bit of an issue. Now we're really going to break down this system coming up in about 10 minutes or so. But first, we're going to check in with Mike Arsenault, who's in for Kevin Yard. We pair with Ontario Travel every year at this time, and we normally send people to really cold and snowy areas. Now, Mike, I want to know, are you a skier or a boarder, and are you going to be doing either today? So after our system today, we are going to be seeing a bit of a break tonight and into tomorrow morning, and then the real low moves in. This is going to be the one that brings in extended periods of freezing rain. Now, it's going to track through the GTA Saturday afternoon, through the overnight into Sunday, and that is where we're going to be seeing the heaviest ice accretion. 5 to 10 millimeters is something that we're looking at before it starts to clear out by Monday. So our Monday morning commute could be a slippery one, but we're not going to be seeing any precipitation, which would be great. Now we're looking at 0 for tomorrow, and this system is so temperature dependent. I mean, the further you get away from 0 on the plus scale, the more likely it is you're going to see rain. And if you get lower than 0, around -1, -2, the likelihood is going to be snow. But if you're sitting right on that freezing line, that's where we're seeing the freezing drizzle, the mixed precipitation, the ice pellets. By Christmas Day, however, we warm up. We are going to be relatively mild, and we might even see some sun. Our Storm Watch coverage continues. It's Friday. It is the 20th of December. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is going to be such a messy weekend for getting around. We've got a freezing rain warning in place for right now, stretching through London, all the way up through Mount Forest, through the city of Toronto, Peterborough, all the way up towards Kingston. Travel on the 401 corridor this morning, travel on the QEW could potentially be very messy. Now, we have seen freezing rain reported in Kitchener and Waterloo. We've seen freezing rain reported at Pearson and through Buttonville. We're just really on that marginal line of freezing throughout much of the GTA. And the reason is the temperature. We're so close to 0 that's why we're seeing that kind of mixing, back to rain, back to a little bit of snow, a little bit of mixing. This is how it's going to play out all day long. Areas further north that are below the freezing mark are going to see straight snow with this. So Barrie and north, that's where we're going to see pretty much straight snow. Anywhere south of the freezing line, that's where we're going to see a little bit of mixing. And then even south of that, it's going to be primarily rain. So just along the lakeshore through, say, Oakville towards Hamilton, it's going to be primarily rain for this morning. This afternoon, that's where it gets a little dicey. We could see some freezing drizzle, some ice pellets. And then tonight, well, everything starts to ease, but not before your commute home. Your commute home could be a mess. Yeah, it's not going to be a good weekend for travel. So this is how it plays out. And then this evening, we actually get a bit of a break through the overnight and tomorrow morning. If you do have to get some running around done, this is when you're supposed to do it. We are going to be seeing a new low come in Saturday afternoon in through the overnight and Sunday morning. This is the one that's going to be responsible for all of the ice accretion. So snowfall amounts for Toronto, we're looking at less than 5 centimeters. Areas further south could get hit with 15 to 30 millimeters. This is through Saturday, so we could see some heavy rain with this system coming in throughout the day today. And then it turns into all ice. Temperatures cool, and we are going to be seeing fairly decent ice accretion, anywhere from 5 to 10 millimeters, not out of the question. Power outages could be a bit of an issue. Now, we're going to join Mike Arsenault. He's in for Kevin Yard this Friday, and every Friday at this time of year, we pair up with Ontario Travel, and we send Kevin or Mike to very cold and snowy destinations for them to have a good time. And Mike, you are at Mount St. Louis Moonstone today. What are you going to be up to? Significant winter storm moving in through southern Ontario. It's significant for a couple of reasons. One, it is the last weekend to get anything done before the Christmas holidays. And two, it's because it involves a lot of ice, which is what nobody wants at any time of year. We're going to see snow, we're going to see freezing rain, we're going to see ice pellets, and then just straight rain through this system. It starts already. It's already started. It started last night, moving in through this morning. And right now, we do have a freezing rain warning in place. Now, this stretches from Kingston all the way down towards Hamilton and in through London. We have seen freezing drizzle reported through Kitchener and in through Waterloo, at Pearson and at Buttonville. Fog is also a bit of an issue this morning. Tom Reynolds is going to have more on what to expect in terms of your road conditions coming up in just a few moments. Take a look at the radar, and you can actually see a really good depiction of where that freezing line is, sitting right over Toronto. See how we go from pink to green to pink to green? That's going from freezing drizzle to mixing to rain, from freezing drizzle to mixing to rain. Areas further north, below the freezing line, that's going to be straight snow. Areas further to the south that are going to be above the freezing line, so we're looking at 1-2 degrees, that's going to be primarily rain. So these type maps are going to show you pretty much exactly what type of precipitation we are expected to see today. Notice how we are in the GTA and we're kind of smack dab in the middle in the pink. The pink is the bad place to be. You don't want to be in there because that's where we're going to see the freezing drizzle. That's where we're going to see the freezing rain. That's where we're going to see the ice pellets. And it's all going to go back and forth, literally, because it's really temperature dependent. Areas further north, like Barrie and in through Cottage Country, could see 10 centimeters of snow today. Areas further south, Hamilton, down along the shores of Erie and through London, it's going to be primarily a rain event, anywhere from 15 to 30 millimeters. Toronto, Oakville, Mississauga, Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, off towards Oshawa and in through Prince Edward County, all the way through Cobourg, it is going to be primarily mixing freezing drizzle and mixed with a little bit of rain. I know, I sound like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, but that's exactly what we're going to see. It's literally going to flop back and forth, back and forth, back and forth throughout the day today. So as this frontal boundary continues to track its way east, we'll see all that messy weather throughout the day today. Then we see a break through tonight and into tomorrow morning. So if you do have any kind of last minute running around that you have to get done on the weekend, tomorrow morning is your window. If you have travel plans, if you need to go to London, if you need to go up through Cottage Country, that's your window. Take it, because by Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, that's where the major ice storm comes in. This is where we're going to see intense ice accretion, anywhere from 5 to 10 millimeters. Power outages could be an issue through much of the GTA. Flooding could start to be an issue because we do have a lot of snowpack, so clear your storm drains if you can. Less than 5 centimeters of snow for the city, but up towards Barrie, 5 to 10. Rainfall, this is the heavier rainfall that I was mentioning, 15 to 30 millimeters, Niagara and south. And then here's the ice. I know this map looks daunting. When I saw it in the briefing, I was like, dun, 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 wow. Okay, so it is widespread anywhere south of Muskoka and anywhere north of, say, Dunnville. That's where we're going to see that prolonged period of freezing drizzle. Saturday, overnight into Sunday. Do not travel. Do not hit the roads. Tom? Hi there. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic, and we are in storm watch. It is Friday. It is December the 20th, and we have got some messy weather on the way to tell you about. And with that, I'm going to go and grab my clicker because I forgot it by my computer, but I'm just going to get it right now. Okay. I'm with you. All right, freezing rain. This is widespread. This is huge. This is a big deal. We are going to be seeing the risk of freezing rain through the morning and again tonight. Temperatures this afternoon bumping up slightly, so it is going to be primarily rain and a little bit of mixing. But as temperatures hover around that freezing mark, that's where we see the freezing rain. We're seeing snow north of the freezing line, so up through Muskoka. Tom and I were just talking about the snowfall there. We've been seeing freezing drizzle through Barrie, but now has transitioned over to snow. Kitchener, Waterloo, into a little bit of freezing drizzle this morning. Anywhere around, say, Buttonville and Pearson, also reporting some freezing drizzle. It's literally that fine line. See that color of pink? You never want to be into the area of pink because that is where we see the mixing. That's the freezing rain. Those are the ice pellets. Anywhere south of that, that's where we're primarily seeing rain. Anywhere to the north of that, that is where we're seeing snow. It is so temperature dependent, this system. This afternoon, it gets messy throughout the GTA. Some areas could see some heavy rain. By tonight, we get a bit of a lull. Tomorrow morning, if you have to go out, if you just have to get what you need to get done on the weekend, tomorrow morning is your best window. If you're traveling for the holidays, tomorrow morning, your best window. By tomorrow night and into Sunday, that's where things are going to get really dicey. That's where we're going to see the ice accretion. That is where we're going to see really poor travel conditions. Snow to the north, we could see 10 to 15 centimeters around Cottage Country and east towards Ottawa and Montreal. The freezing line sits right through the city of Toronto, anywhere around the GTA. That's where we're going to be seeing that major ice accretion. And then areas further south of that along the shores of Erie, that's where we're going to see the heavier rainfall. So it's really going to be where you live, how high you are in terms of the elevation, and the temperature that you're going to see. So we've got most areas in very icy conditions for Sunday. We'll talk more about this in a moment. But first, let's check in with Mike Arsenault. He is north of Barrie, primarily snow. And Mike, I thought you'd be skiing. Where are you right now? What are you doing? Friday, it's December the 20th. We're in storm watch for the ice storm that's going to be moving in through southern Ontario, pretty much lasting all weekend long. Starting today, we're already seeing some snow north of Toronto. We're seeing that fine freezing line, Toronto and south. We do have a freezing rain warning in effect for today and into tonight. This is really widespread throughout the area. Ice accretion is going to be possible. It's not going to be great for your morning commute or your drive home tonight. Here's a look at the radar in those areas that are in the green and then pink and then green and then pink. That means it's transitioning from freezing drizzle to rain to freezing drizzle to rain, and then areas further north where it's all blue, that's snow. So it really depends on where you are in relation to the warm front, this kind of frontal boundary, and what your temperature is sitting at. Areas that are going to be colder than the freezing mark, snow. Areas hovering around the freezing mark, mixing freezing drizzle, freezing rain, and then areas that are going to be 1 or 2 degrees above the freezing mark, that's where we're going to see straight rain. So Hamilton, it looks as though you're going to stay rain this morning. And even into the afternoon, you're just kind of right on the cusp of this. But Toronto, into the mixing line, and then Saturday, overnight, and into Sunday, that is where we're going to be seeing the significant ice accretion, and we could be seeing 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. Not great for power lines, because they could be heavy enough to cause power outages. We could be dealing with some isolated flooding just because of the snowpack and the heavier rainfall down towards the south. We could pick up 15 to 20 millimeters, not out of the question. It's not going to be a great weekend for travel, but it is going to be a great weekend for skiing if you're already up north. Mike Arsenault joins us. He's actually on a groomer at Mount St. Louis Moonstone. And Mike, is this your way of making sure the conditions are perfect for you before you throw on your skis? Hi there. Our Stormwatch coverage continues on this Friday. It's December the 20th. I'm Emily Vukovic. So last weekend before Christmas, I know, so you're probably thinking, well, I've got to do this, and I've got so-and-so's party, and I've got so-and-so coming over to get this. Well, you may need to scratch all of those plans because we've got some wicked weather moving in through southern Ontario. We'll start things off with a freezing rain warning just to get you started, just to get you in the feeling of it. Roads are going to be slick today. We're going to be mixing back and forth from rain to snow to freezing drizzle. We've already seen a reported through Kitchener, Waterloo. Barrie went from freezing rain to snow, and through Muskoka we've been dealing with some freezing rain. Pearson has reported freezing rain. Bowmanville has reported freezing rain. So it has not been a good morning so far. The good news is that people are behaving themselves on the road, and Tom's going to give you more details on that. But we haven't seen any major collisions yet because of this. Now, we have been seeing kind of a rain-snow mix through the greater Toronto area. And looking at the radar, when you see that kind of pink switching to green and then back to pink again, that's because we're going from freezing drizzle to ice pellets to rain, back to freezing drizzle to ice pellets, back to rain. It's going to be one of those days today. Literally, we're going to flip-flop back and forth throughout different types of conditions, really depending on our temperature. We're sitting right along that frontal boundary, so we know that's not going anywhere. So it's really going to depend on if we're hovering closer to the freezing mark, a little bit below, or a little bit above. Here's how it's going to play out potentially. We've got that mixing line right through the GTA, Guelph, Waterloo, Kitchener, Cambridge, Toronto, in through Mississauga and Oakville. But a little bit south of that this morning, Hamilton, it looks as though you're mostly in the rain. Unfortunately, that changes by this afternoon. You get right into that freezing rain line. So it's going to depend if you live on the mountain or not. Now, we are going to see snow areas further north because temperatures are just cold enough. So, Orangeville and north, Orangeville, you're in the freezing rain warning, but north of that, we could see just potentially snow throughout the area. This morning, that's going to be how we play it. We could see some heavier rainfall down along the shores of Lake Erie. We clear out by tonight and into tomorrow morning. If you have to go anywhere or do anything, Saturday morning is your window. By Saturday afternoon, new round of moisture comes in. This one is going to be primarily freezing rain through all of the GTA. Snowfall amounts 5 to 10 centimeters north of the city. Around the city, we're looking at less than 5 centimeters, 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. It's not going to be dry by all means. So this is going to be mostly to the south, and then the icy conditions, they really fire up Saturday overnight and into Sunday. That's where we could pick up about 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. Now I'm going to throw things over to Tom Reynolds. And Tom, do you have any advice for people that are having to commute in icy conditions? We're in Storm Watch. It's Friday, it's December the 20th, and we have got a wicked weekend on the way for you in terms of weather. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. You're thinking, ugh, why are you so chipper? We've got freezing rain in the forecast. Well, it is that time of year where we've got temperatures hovering around the freezing mark, and that's where we could be dealing with freezing rain, ice pellets, very slushy road conditions. We do have a freezing rain warning in place that stretches from Kingston all the way down towards London. This is for today and into tonight. So this is for round one, because we've got round two on the way for Saturday and into Sunday. Looking at the radar, there's the snow to the north, that pink and green, and how they're kind of mixing together. Those are our ice pellets / freezing drizzle / freezing rain / rain. It's certainly going to be one of those types of days. Literally, it is going to flop back and forth throughout the day today. It's really temperature dependent. To the south of that, we've got rain. So here's how this morning plays out. Snow to the north. We're going to be checking in with Mike Arsenault. He's actually on the slopes right now at St. Louis Moonstone. Throughout the middle, it's kind of like a sandwich, right? The snow and the rain being the bun. Guelph, Cambridge, Waterloo, you're the meat or the tofu, whatever you eat. It's going to be very messy for you today. It could be very slippery on the 401 corridor, the QEW. By this afternoon, we're looking at the mixing line shift further south. Temperatures are going to be colder through Hamilton. Could see a fine line of freezing drizzle, freezing rain. And then south of that, along the shores of Erie, stretching up towards London, primarily all rain, 15 to 30 millimeters potentially. This is tomorrow night and into Sunday. Icy, icy, icy. Not recommended for travel. 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion is a possibility for us throughout the GTA. Okay, we're going to check in with Mike Arsenault. He has made it onto the slopes. Mike, how does it feel after not being able to put on skis for as long as you have? We are in Storm Watch. We are busy little elves here today at the Weather Network. We've got lots of stuff going on in terms of our temperature and our different types of precipitation. It's all very temperature dependent what's happening right now throughout the lower Great Lakes. I'm Emily Vukovic. Tom Reynolds is going to be joining us shortly. He's got all your latest on your commute details and maybe even a little bit of advice on how to drive in deteriorating conditions. Sorry, I've been running around the building all morning. I'm just trying to catch my breath. Okay. Freezing rain warning. It is widespread. It runs all the way from Kingston straight down towards London. Temperatures hovering around the freezing mark are our biggest concern right now. Looking at the radar, you can see we've got all snow primarily to the north, right through the GTA. See how we go from green to pink, and then back to pink, and then back to green? I know it looks pretty, it looks festive, but that is the type of weather we don't want to see, because that's our freezing rain mixing with rain, ice pellets. It's not good for the last weekend before the holiday. Snow primarily to the north this morning. Barrie was into some freezing drizzle. It is now switched back over to snow. We've got the freezing line, Guelph all the way through the city of Toronto, and then Hamilton this morning, primarily rain. By the afternoon, that freezing line, it starts to sink south. Temperatures are going to be cooler, so Hamilton could get into that freezing rain, mixing ice pellets, and then Saturday overnight into Sunday, that's when we get hammered. Literally, that is when we're going to be seeing prolonged periods of freezing rain overnight and into Sunday. Not recommended for travel. 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion possible. Now, if you're further north, you're thinking, well, great, I'm getting all this snow. And that is where we join Mike Arsenault. He is at Mount St. Louis Moonstone. He's hitting the slopes. And Mike, I don't know, you said that you haven't skied in a really long time. And as far as I'm concerned, you look like a pro out there. It's Friday. It is the 20th of December. We are in Storm Watch. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic. Significant storms on the way throughout southern Ontario. I said storms, yes, because round one is happening right now. We're seeing the first wave moving in through the lower Great Lakes. Some areas are seeing snow. Some areas are seeing freezing drizzle. Some areas are seeing rain. Some areas are seeing all three. I know, you're the big winners. Freezing rain warning in place, stretching from London all the way up towards Kingston, Peterborough through Barrie. Barrie saw a few hours of freezing drizzle, has now switched over to snow. By the way, if you are having issues with checking in with the Weather Network, if you can hear me but you can't see me, we are trying to resolve those issues as soon as possible. Okay, so here's that freezing line rain mix that's moving in through the greater Toronto area. If you're wondering why it goes from pink to green, because the pink is the mixing. That's that rain snow mix, ice pellet kind of scenario. The green is the rain. And that's primarily down towards the south where temperatures are just a little bit above the freezing mark. For Toronto, we're actually sitting right along the freezing mark, and that is where we're going to sit for the better part of the day. So we do have freezing rain in the forecast. It is going to continue to stretch from pretty much Kingston through Prince Edward County, Cobourg, Oshawa, and through Scarborough and Toronto, down towards Oakville and Hamilton. See, we're kind of on that rain line, so we're going to see kind of ice pellets mixed with rain and freezing rain and not so much snow. Later on this afternoon, we're still going to be in that freezing line, and then Saturday night into Sunday, it's not good. This is where we're going to see the more significant ice accretion. 5 to 10 millimeters is possible. Slippery road conditions. If you need to get out, if you just have to get out on the weekend, if you have to do something, do it tomorrow morning. That's going to be the lull. That's going to be your best window. Now, we could see some power outages with this ice accretion. So Kasia tells us kind of what we need to be prepared for with a storm like this on the way.
Yeah, we're at a Home Hardware in Burlington where we're talking about emergency preparedness. And, you know, the system, it's very complex, so it's really important to keep it tuned in to the Weather Network or theweathernetwork.com. But in the case that you lose power, it's a good idea to have a weather radio. This one is powered by Crank, but there are some weather radios that need batteries. We're talking to Kyle now. What are some other items that you would recommend should we lose power? Sure. And of course, we were talking about emergency preparedness in our vehicles as well, and this is a really important one to have as well.
Good one to carry with you, yeah, okay. Just in case.
Great tips. Thanks so much, Kyle. Now back to you inside.
Thanks so much, Kasia. So there you have it. Flashlights, batteries, radio, and a blanket if you're traveling. Flares are good to have in your car as well. It's good to have some bottled water, maybe some granola bars. So yeah, all of the above for the system that's coming through. All right, Tom, what's going on the roads this morning? We are in Storm Watch this Friday. It is December the 20th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic. Throughout southern Ontario, we are getting hit with a 1-2 punch. The first punch being this morning. We do have a freezing rain warning in place throughout the lower Great Lakes. Stretches all the way from Kingston straight down towards London. And I do want to mention, just before I get into all the meat and potatoes, the nitty gritty, a lot of people that are seeing us on Rogers are seeing us kind of cut in and then cut out and then cut in and then cut out. You can maybe hear me, but you can't see me. We are trying our best to resolve the issue as soon as possible, so please just bear with us. We are seeing snow to areas further north. We're seeing, so Barrie, if I'm cutting in and out for you, snow, snow, snow. Down towards Toronto and in through Oakville, Mississauga, we are seeing that kind of fine line of mixing. So if you're in the pink and then the green and then the pink and the green, that just means you're flopping back and forth between rain and a little bit of ice. Ice pellets, freezing rain, that kind of scenario. Down towards Hamilton, it looks as though it's going to stay straight rain throughout the better part of the morning, but by the afternoon, that is where we can transition into a little bit of freezing drizzle, because that freezing line is just going to push its way a little bit further south. This system is so temperature dependent, and so is the next low that's going to be moving in on Saturday and into Sunday with a potential for a prolonged period of freezing rain. We're talking anywhere between, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours. This is going to be a large area affected by this. Temperatures hovering around the freezing mark, 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. It's a possibility for us. Now to areas further north that are seeing snow, I think they're pretty happy. And we join Mike Arsenault. He's in for Kevin Yard today. He is up at Mount St. Louis Moonstone, carving up the slopes. And Mike, you said to me, oh, Emily, I haven't skied in years. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it anymore. Meanwhile, you're a pro. Well, you might need your snowblower if you're anywhere further north, but to the south, you're going to need your ice pick and maybe those little picks to put on the bottom of your shoes, because we do have some pretty wicked weather coming this weekend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic. We are in Storm Watch for southern Ontario and into Atlantic Canada because of the series of lows that are pushing in through the lower Great Lakes. Starting today, we do have a freezing rain warning. This is not very pleasant. It's causing a little bit of havoc on the roads. We're seeing some freezing drizzle through Wyerton and through stretching down towards Waterloo. We have been reporting light mist and fog through the Hamilton area. Pearson and Buttonville have also reported some freezing drizzle. Looking at the radar, if you see the blue, that's snow. If you see the green, that's rain. And then that fine line of pink in between mixing with the blue and mixing with the green, that's the freezing rain, and that's the ice pellets. That's the really messy, slippery kind of stuff. That's what we're going to be into all all day long. It's literally going to go in and out, in and out, in and out. The system is very temperature dependent. By this afternoon, the freezing line really starts to sink its way south. So Hamilton, primarily all rain this morning, but by the afternoon, we are going to see that fine line of mixing. And then this is for Saturday night into Sunday. So today is round one. We'll see a bit of a lull tomorrow morning. So if you absolutely have to get out, if you're traveling, I mean, if you're going up to the cottage for the holidays, if you are flying out of Pearson, if you are traveling, say, towards Kingston or in through London, tomorrow morning is your best window. By the afternoon, this is what we're expecting. This is going to get worse through the overnight and into Sunday. 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. It's quite possible. So power outages could be a bit of an issue. Now, areas further north, they're seeing all snow. And we join Mike Arsenault right now. He is north of Barrie at Mount St. Louis, Moonstone, having a great time carving up the slopes. He's like, yeah, I haven't skied in about 3 years, but I don't know about you, Mike. I think you're being a little bit of a show-off this morning.
Of course.
Well, we've been busy little elves here today at the Weather Network. This weekend, right off. Just take it easy. Give yourself lots of extra travel time. Stay inside if you can. Just drink some hot chocolate. Hang out by the fire. Wrap some presents. By Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we return to a little bit of sunshine. For Christmas Eve, we're looking at -8. Christmas Day, -1. A mix of sun and clouds. So really, if we can just get our way through this weekend, we are going to be seeing much nicer conditions for the beginning of next week, right through till Christmas. Hi there, good morning. Our storm watch coverage continues throughout the lower Great Lakes. We are seeing some rain, some freezing drizzle, and some snow moving up further north. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is the last holiday weekend before, it's the last weekend before the holiday. There we go. You can tell I've been busy this morning. I'm mixing up my words. We'll start things off with a freezing rain warning throughout the lower Great Lakes. This is widespread. It goes from Kingston all the way down towards London, up through Barrie, Hamilton, Oakville, as well as Mississauga, through Burlington, Kitchener, Waterloo. Everybody's been dealing with, you know, that switch, that raining for 1 second and then back to freezing drizzle for a second and then raining for 1 second and freezing drizzle for a second. Primarily, it has been rain, which is good news. The green, that indicates rain. The blue, that's indicating snow. The pink, that's that fine mixing line in between. So anywhere from Kingston through Prince Edward County, through Cobourg, and through Oshawa and Scarborough, through Toronto and Oakville, Mississauga, we have that fine line of mixing in our forecast. Hamilton and south, we're looking at rain. So it is primarily going to be an all-rain event for the Niagara region. Hamilton, by the afternoon, you get onto that fine line right there. You could see some freezing drizzle. You could see some ice pellets, freezing rain, as well as showers mixed in. Areas further north, snow. So this is just the appetizer. The good news is that we do see a little bit of break. We get a break tonight and into tomorrow morning. So if you're thinking, I have to get out this weekend, I just need to, tomorrow is the day to do it, early in the day, because by the afternoon, that's where we're going to see the more intense freezing rain potential come through the area. All right, if we do see intense freezing rain, we could see some ice accretion causing power outages. Here's Kasha with some tips on how to be prepared. I was at that Home Hardware Burlington yesterday? No, day before. I actually saw that guy. Okay, well, temperatures are going to stay cold. We'll just hovering around the freezing mark all weekend long, and then we actually cool down before Christmas. We'll talk about that in your long-range forecast. But first, here's Tom with an update on traffic. We are in Storm Watch. It's Friday. It's December the 20th, and we have got quite the wicked winter storm on the way this weekend, and we're already seeing round one. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. We have been very busy here at the Weather Network this morning. We've been running around the hallways. We've got a freezing rain warning in place that's stretching from Kingston all the way down towards London. If you're traveling anywhere, the 401 corridor, the QEW, north on the 400 to Barrie, things could get dicey for you, and it's really just temperature dependent. Looking at the radar, the blue, that indicates snow. The green, that indicates rain. The pink in between, all this business in here, that's the rain-snow mix. That's the ice pellets. That's the freezing rain. It's not pleasant. We have already seen freezing rain reported in Kitchener and through Waterloo and up toward Barrie and at Pearson and in through Buttonville. Primarily, it is a rain event right now, which is good news for commuters. Tom hasn't seen any major issues on the roads, and he's going to give us more detail on that in a moment. But in through Hamilton and Oakville and Mississauga, just along that QEW, that's going to be primarily rain this morning. But by the afternoon, that freezing line is going to sink a little bit further south. That's where we could get into a little bit of mixing. The real punch of this storm is going to be coming Saturday into Sunday. Saturday overnight, Sunday travel not recommended. New low moves in, temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. This is when we can see prolonged periods of freezing rain. We're talking 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. And this freezing rain scenario could last anywhere from 12 to 15 hours. It's not going to be recommended to travel anywhere. So if you absolutely must get out this weekend, Saturday morning, that's when we're going to see a bit of a lull. That's your best window. All right, we're going to join Mike Arsenault, who is up north skiing at St. Louis Moonstone. And Mike, now that you're not going too fast down the slope to hear me, I can actually say, I can't believe you're like, oh, I haven't skied in 3 years. I don't know. And then you are a pro. You are a really good skier. Hi there, our Storm Watch coverage continues for this Friday. It's December the 20th. I'm Emily Vukovic. Busy morning here at the Weather Network. We've got watches in place. We've got warnings, rather, in place for freezing rain. We have been reporting freezing rain through parts of Waterloo, parts of Cambridge, parts of Kitchener, in through Muskoka and Barrie. A lot of areas have now switched over to straight snow, and a lot of areas are seeing straight rain. But we do have the warning in nonetheless because we're going to be hovering around that freezing mark all day long. So it stretches all the way from Kingston straight down towards London. If we look at the radar, you can see the blue, that's all snow. This green, that's all rain. And you see that kind of mixing, kind of very pretty, greeny, pink area in the middle? That's the area you don't want to be in, and unfortunately, that's the area we are in. That's where we're seeing that freezing rain / rain kind of mix moving through, and that's going to be the trend pretty much all day long. We've got that fine line of freezing through Guelph, Waterloo, Cambridge, Oakville, in through Toronto, Oshawa, Scarborough, all the way out towards Port Colborne, and in through Kingston. Hamilton, primarily rain this morning. The closer you are to the lake, the better chance you have to see just straight rain. But by the afternoon, that freezing line starts to sink its way south. We could see some mixing through the Hamilton area. And then the big system that's coming in Saturday into Sunday, that is going to be primarily a freezing rain event. Depending on where you are, 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion not out of the question. Areas further north, we're going to see snow, and that's good news for people that are joining Mike Arsenault this morning. He is at Mount St. Louis Moonstone having a great time carving up the slopes. And Mike, they said you're not allowed to hit the trick area because you don't have your health card on you. Oh, it's too bad. We are in Storm Watch on this Friday. It's December the 20th. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Network. We are Canada's #1 source for complete and accurate weather. I'm Emily Vukovic, and we've got lots to talk about covering this weekend's weather. It's the last weekend before the holiday. This is the last weekend you can get out, get some last-minute shopping done, go to the grocery store, get all your goodies for the Christmas holidays. Be careful, is all I have to say. Be prepared for bad weather. We are in a freezing rain warning right now. This is for today and tonight. This is just round one. Looking at the radar, you can see primarily to the north, it is snow, but we are seeing that fine line of mixing in between. You don't want to find yourself in this pink area, but that's exactly where we are through the GTA, and that's exactly what's going to continue pretty much all weekend long. Areas further south and closer to the lake, it is going to be primarily rain. That's good news for Hamilton and Oakville and Mississauga this morning. But by the afternoon, we could transition over to that fine line of mixing. The freezing line is going to shift further south, so there is the chance for some freezing rain, ice pellets, a bit of a rain-snow mix, but down towards the Niagara region, straight down the shores of Erie, all rain. So London, it looks as though it's going to be primarily a rain event if you have travel plans to London. Here's how the movie plays out. We are going to be seeing a bit of a break tonight and into tomorrow morning. So if you absolutely must go out, if you're thinking, no, my only chance is to go tomorrow morning, then tomorrow morning is your window. That's where you need to get out and get your stuff done, because by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, a significant low moves in, and this is the one that's going to be bringing us most of the heavier precipitation. So through Saturday, 5 to 10 centimeters through Barrie, less than 5 centimeters through Toronto. Rainfall amounts, however, 15 to 30 millimeters, Hamilton south down along the shores of Erie. And then Saturday overnight and into Sunday, big swath of freezing rain throughout the area. Temperature dependent, it's really going to be hovering around the freezing mark. If we do see heavy ice accretion, you want to be prepared. Here's Kasia Badurka with some tips. Thanks, Kasha. Yeah, you might as well throw some bottled water in there, some granola bars in your vehicle. Some flares are always good to have on hand if you're going to be doing some long traveling. We'll talk about the roads right now. We're going to turn things over to Tom. And Tom, do you have any good advice for people when it comes to driving in freezing rain? We are in storm watch on this Friday. It is December the 20th. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic. We have been dealing with primarily rain this morning, which has been good news for commuters, but we do have a freezing rain warning in effect for all of southern Ontario. The potential is there for a very messy drive this afternoon and in through tonight, just because of the temperature. We're really hovering around that freezing mark, and in most cases we've been above the freezing mark, which has been good for people that are trying to get around in through the lower Great Lakes. But areas further north, they're seeing snow. Barrie has kind of been in through all of it. And I think Pearson, Dana Batiste, one of our meteorologists here, she actually just tweeted, I think Pearson has seen every different type of winter precipitation so far this morning. Snow, ice pellets, freezing drizzle, kitchen sink. No, not the kitchen sink, but she threw that in there too. Okay, so the radar looks like that this morning. We could see some mixing. Like I said, it's really going to be temperature dependent. The good news, the closer you are to the lake, the more rain event this is going to be for you until this afternoon. That's when our freezing line starts to sink south. That's where we could see a little bit of mixing, some freezing drizzle, but primarily to the north, it's all staying snow. Saturday overnight into Sunday, whole new system. It's like we clear the slate. Saturday morning, we have a bit of a break. Saturday afternoon, new low moves in. Again, temperature dependent along this frontal boundary. That's where we could see the heaviest ice accretion. 5 to 10 millimeters could be a possibility. It's good if you're further north because you're seeing straight snow. And Mike Arsenault has been having such a good time at Mount St. Louis Moonstone this morning. He's in for Kevin Yard. And Mike, I don't think you could have picked a better day to pair up with Ontario travel. Like Kevin, I don't think he can ski at all, but you're a pro. We are in storm watch this morning. We have got some significant weather on the way for this weekend. Now, the good news is that this morning it has been primarily rain throughout the GTA, so your commute not necessarily being affected that badly. Tom's going to have more road condition details coming up for you in just a few moments. Freezing rain warning throughout southern Ontario. This is for today and into tonight. We'll look at the radar, and you can see a lot of areas to the south are dealing with rain. Little bit of mixing here and there. It's kind of one of those moments where you're like, oh, is that freezing rain? What is that, ice pellets? No, that's rain. Is that ice pellets? It's literally going to flip-flop like that pretty much throughout the entire day. Snowfall to the north. Here's a look at the precipitation types. Now, this is a really good indication of kind of what we can see throughout the day. Areas north, blue, snow. Areas south, green, rain. Fine line of mixing in between this morning for Toronto, but it looks as though Hamilton, primarily rain. We could see us move into mixing through the Hamilton region and through back towards Guelph and through Cambridge and Waterloo and Kitchener. It's really temperature dependent. I mean, it's going to be one of those days where it's like, it's raining. No, that looks like ice pellets. Okay, back to rain. It's going to be kind of exhausting. And then it starts to clear out, which is good. We'll get a tiny little bit of a break. And when I say that, I mean like tonight, overnight, and into tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, new low moves in. This is the one responsible for giving us the potential for about 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. 12 hours of freezing rain, not out of the question. Now, areas further north seeing all snow, and that is great news for Mike Arsenault today. He is up at Mount St. Louis Moonstone. He's been carving up the slopes. He's been talking about food donations. And Mike, honestly, I know you've had a great day today. Hi there, our Storm Watch coverage continues. We have been dealing with a messy mix this morning, but primarily it is rain throughout the GTA. It's Friday, it is the 20th of December. I'm Emily Vukovic, and this is going to be a very bad weekend for bad weather. Of course, this is the last weekend that we can get out and do all of our last minute errands before the Christmas holiday. Okay, so today, it's not great. Today, we do have the risk for some freezing rain. We've already seen freezing drizzle through Waterloo, as well as through Kitchener, up through Muskoka and Barrie. Pearson has also reported a little bit of freezing drizzle, as well as Buttonville. It's not going to be a great day for travel. Roads could be a little bit slick at times. We do have a freezing rain warning in place throughout southern Ontario. It stretches from Kingston all the way down towards London. It's for today and into tonight. If you look at the radar, John, can I have the radar? Please. No, yes, radar, please. Okay, I'll just describe it. We've got snow to the north, so Barrie over towards, literally a line, and I'm looking at it on my monitor, Barrie towards Brockville. That's where we're going to see that kind of freezing line right now. And then to the south of that, we do have some mixing through the GTA. That's kind of that fine line of pink. Oh, now it's black. We're not getting a map, am I? Okay, I'll get one eventually. And then to the south of that, it's going to be primarily rain. Now, Hamilton, we're kind of on the cusp of this right now. I mean, we are going to be seeing rain, but then by later on this afternoon, we could transition into a little bit of freezing drizzle, a rain-snow mix. Ta-da! I have a map. Here's our freezing rain warning in effect. The radar looks like this. So I was describing it and just not very well. There's that snow. There's the pink where we've got that mixing into the south. That's the rain. So Hamilton into the rain this morning. It's pretty much primarily been all rain this morning. By the afternoon, there's that freezing line sinking south. It's going to be an on again, off again kind of day when it comes to different types of precipitation. Now, we do start to clear out tonight. We'll see a lull in the storm system, and then tomorrow afternoon it picks back up again. So if you're thinking, okay, I absolutely have to get out, I need to get out and run some errands, tomorrow morning is going to be your best bet. If you've got any travel that you need to get done, get to point A to point B, tomorrow morning, do it then. Because then we've got some pretty decent freezing rain on the way tomorrow afternoon, evening, overnight, and into Sunday morning. Snowfall forecast, areas north of the city, 5 to 10 centimeters. Rainfall forecast, 15 to 30 millimeters down towards the south. And this is Sunday. This is Saturday night into Sunday morning. Very, very slippery road conditions as advised. So just stay home and prepare yourself. If we do have to be out into the freezing rain, though, warning, or what kind of warnings do you have for us to be on the roads, Tom?
Right now,